Hello to my friends and family members and people who just jump on here and listen to my podcast. I do truly appreciate the conversations afterwards and messages I receive. Yes, they are few and far between, but the exchange and the interactions are extremely honest. There was a situation where I was asked how I felt about my conversations that I am having because I tend to be extremely honest and transparent. And I don't have, there is a bit of a reluctancy on occasions, and that is quite natural. So when I say certain things, they are quite uncensored. They are not pre-planned or scripted prior. I just, whatever comes to mind, I speak. If I have a thought, I say it. And the reason why I do so is because I want to keep it as organic as I possibly can. All of this whole journey, this venture of mine was accidental. A few months ago, last year, I got an opportunity, a space, and I said, okay, I'll take advantage of this opportunity. And I've never done a podcast before. And I approached a couple of people, and Wendy and Suchi were more than generous and willing to jump on board. And we thought, okay, let's be quite organic. Let's give information or share information organically, and we can learn from our experiences. This is a new venture for all of us, and let's not overdo it. And we went into the whole process with an open mind, open heart, and we knew if any of us needed a hand or a shoulder, that the other person was willing to jump on so we could support each other openly and honestly. And so I've done a few more podcasts, and what I've learned is for me, it is quite therapeutic. As I speak and talk and share my experiences, I actually learn myself. So I think for me, it is quite essential to share the experiences I have had or I have faced and what I put in place to be able to overcome certain insecurities. Like I've spoken about my stutter and my stammer, which overtook my life, as a young child who wasn't able to communicate quite easily, having a stutter and a stammer just increased the amount of anxiety that I as a young man had, and I would sometimes get quite lost amongst people because I would like to say a lot of things and I wasn't able to say because I was quite insecure about my verbal skills. And so sharing those experiences with people basically tells people, guess what? We all have experiences, and as long as we have a supportive environment, so it doesn't have to be a full soccer team. As long as you have an aunt, an uncle, a friend, a neighbor who is willing to listen and who's willing to share their experiences with you, that's all you require to be able to go forward and understand your life. Life is all about giving and taking. And as long as we are quite mindful that whenever we take from individuals, we should give back. And I'm not talking about money or material things. I'm talking about time. Giving time to an individual is and giving time to people who do require your time honestly is more of a gift than a bottle of perfume or an expensive pair of shoes or a watch, I don't know, a gift voucher of some sort. But time is quite valuable. And therefore, if you take time out for individuals, not expecting anything in return because that particular individual is struggling, then I think that is such a wonderful gift. And I do appreciate when people do that for me. And so I take time out deliberately. If somebody needs a hand or a shoulder, I make sure I make myself available for them. Putting that all aside, the reason why I got onto this podcast this afternoon was because I had a conversation not long ago about young folks or kids being vulnerable, but at the same time, kids being quite, they absorb information and experiences from a really early age. And it is quite essential that we as elders in our environments should be quite mindful and aware of what experiences we allow young minds to indulge in, and how we guide young minds, because it dictates the path they take. A lot of young people, everyone's not as resilient as the other person, and that's the reason why I don't believe in equality. What I do believe in is fairness. Not all of us are equals. Some of us are stronger than others. Some of us are a lot more resilient. Some of us are a lot more uglier than others. And we have to be mindful of those traits and characteristics. And that's what I am. I am quite aware of my surroundings and the people around me. So people who are vulnerable, and people who need a hand, I deliberately take time out, especially when it comes to young people. Whenever I'm in the company of kids, I make sure I'm quite mindful of my behavior. I'm not talking about being rigid. I am playful. I am spontaneous, but I'm quite mindful as well. So the reason, once again, I get carried away. The reason why I got on here is somebody got back to me and said, Neil, but you're not a parent. You can't give advice, not knowing what a parent goes through. And I had a very honest conversation with them, once again, very transparent, not holding back my feelings. And I said, I don't need to be a parent to know what a good parent should look like, and how a good parent should behave. I was a child once upon a time, and we were all kids once upon a time. And we know the lives we led and the obstacles that we face, good and bad. And therefore, when you do know that life presents the good and the bad, we have to be extra vigilant and extra cautious when we are around young minds, because we are here to be able to guide these young individuals. So I don't need to be a parent to know what a good parent should do or be like. I would tell most parents, get rid of clutter. Your child does not need fancy clothes. Your child does not need 100 pairs of shoes. Regardless of who you are in society, regardless of how much you earn, what your child needs from you is experience. If you find yourself at a child's park, allowing your kid to play alone on a swing or on a slide, or play alone on the grass, and you are on your phone, or you are in conversation with a friend or another family member, and your child is interacting with him or herself, you have to question that. You do. Yes, you do need time out, but you have given life to this individual. And therefore, you need to be extremely, extremely cautious, extremely, extremely careful, extremely, extremely giving of your time. Because this was a decision that you made. Okay, there are extreme cases where many of us think with our dicks, our penises, and our vaginas. Fair enough, and accidents do occur. But that's no excuse for you being a bad parent. I do understand, sometimes parents or young people, men and women, they give birth, they bring life into this world, and they don't have resources. They don't have enough finances. They themselves are dealing with a lot of hogwash and bullshit in their lives, and they've not been able to address a lot of their own obstacles, and they haven't been able to conquer a lot of their demons, and they are facing troubled times. But now they're given life. I respect those parents who are able to say, guess what? I have issues of my own. And what I've done is given life, and I do not know how to support this life. Can you help me? Can you please try to assist me? And I respect those parents and those individuals who are willing to say that they have flaws, who are willing to say that they have obstacles in their lives, who are willing to say that they are weak. But the only reason why they say those things, so that they are able to protect and guide this new life. Once again, I will tell each and every one of you, it is not the Xbox. Okay, yes, it helps, money helps. It is not the fancy watch, the fancy shoes, the fancy clothes. What you need to spend and do is give your kids and give the people around you experiences. Don't indulge too much in alcohol and those extra addictions that we tend to get too engrossed in. But what we need to indulge in, especially where young people are concerned, is experiences. So when you're in the company of young folks, just make sure that we are doing the right things as elders in society. And if we are finding it hard, reach out, because I am sure there's a friend or a family member who is willing to help. Anyway, take care, look after yourselves, and stay safe.